Johanna Sievewright with American Transmission Company. Just quickly about ATC to give you some context, we're a transmission-only utility with about 10,000 miles of line rights of way in mainly Wisconsin and the Upper Peninsula of Michigan. So I'm here today to talk to you about our pollinator planting grant program that we just established in 2018. So a tool that we're using to really get some of this habitat on the ground and start establishing these partnerships. So we've kind of moved from we need to do this, we understand we need to do this, to how are we actually going to do this. So a little bit of background. About 6 years ago, ATC established what we call our Community Planting Program grant that was focused specifically on giving grants to municipalities to plant trees outside of our rights-of-way. Essentially, we were running into issues of municipalities planting boulevard trees under our rights-of-way in their city limits. And so as a way to really educate them and get them to buy in on not planting anymore in the future, we made this grant available where they would then kind of sign something saying, we understand we shouldn't plant any more trees in the future. Thank you for the money. We'll go plant some trees outside of the right-of-way. So it's a grant that we've been working with at ATC over the past 6 years, and we've given more than 200 communities awarded projects totaling nearly $360,000. So it's a lot of money that we've given out, and it's been very successful. It's also a way to get positive press through ATC, because many times when you're going to do your veg management, it's a lot of negative press and whatnot. And really, it was the applicants through this community planting program that gave me the idea to establish an actual pollinator planting grant. We started to get people putting in applications where they wanted to plant pollinator gardens outside of the right-of-way instead of trees. And I thought, wow, that's great, and we should just have our own pollinator grant instead of trees. So I sold that internally, that we could take a chunk of the money that we've been giving out for trees and set that aside to have our pollinator grant program. So we just established this in 2018, and the difference with the pollinator planting program is we are wanting people to plant within our rights-of-way so that we can really count that acreage towards what's happening under our rights-of-way, and again, educate people and tell the story that native low-growing plants are ideal vegetation to have under our rights-of-way from our management standpoint and a pollinator habitat standpoint. So the grants range from just $500 up to $5,000. So we're not talking a lot of money, but it's been enough to get a lot of engagement and applications from the public. And then another difference with the pollinator planting program is it's opened up to more than just municipalities and counties. We've opened it up to them as well as public land managers. So we wanted to have the opportunity mainly for like nature preserves and conservation groups and whatnot to be able to apply under this grant. So in the first year of the program, we had 8 applicants. We're really just getting the word out about this right now. It's really word of mouth and then what we have on our website. So it's really on us to sell this internally. But to be honest, I like a little bit lower number of applicants. We're never going to get the number we get with our tree planting program because the requirement here is to build under our rights-of-way. So we're going to narrow our applicant group by requiring that because they have to have our rights-of-way on their land to be able to get money under this program. But I feel like the small number of applicants and awards that we will give out gives us that opportunity to really establish those partnerships with who we give the money to and establish kind of more of a long-term partnership and potentially partnering together to monitor into the future and whatnot. So you can see we have some applicants here. So the first year we awarded just $12,420. We have $15,000 earmarked for next year. So we're not talking a lot of money, but it's getting the ball rolling. Maybe we'll get up to the $50,000 a year like we do for the trees once people start to see the opportunity and the interest in this program. So some of the benefits, like I said, it's not a lot of money, but I think there's a lot of benefits with it. Number one being a tool that you can use. When you're out planning your vegetation management work or your capital project work, and you need to say, I'm going to cut down your favorite trees in this park of the city that everyone loves, and the stakeholder you're working with is not happy with the work you want to do, to be able to say you'd be very eligible applicant to apply under our Pollinator program, and you can offer that to them and work with them and explain that and try to find a positive in what they're viewing as the negative work we're doing as a company. It's been a great tool in that regard. Two of the applicants that received awards last year, one being the city of Stevens Point, we were planning to do some pretty significant tree removal work under a line in one of their parks, and so they actually applied for an area in that park where we'll be doing that removal. And there was another one where we had a capital project where we had some impacts, and they came back and applied. It's a formal way for me to choose who I enter into partnerships with. We get a lot of people that come to the table, and with the application, we have a scoring process that we can actually say these people scored better for these reasons. This is why we're giving them the money and partnering with them. Obviously, it increases pollinator habitat on our system. And it opens those doors to the partnerships. I know in Peter's presentation, he talked about that long-term management of the project is essential to its success. And in our application, we have a field where they have to give information on the future management of it. So it takes some of that responsibility off of us as a utility, and we understand that who we're partnering with and where we're putting this money towards, they have these same conservation goals in mind, and will be long-term managing the habitat that goes in. And then positive press. Here's an example from the city of Stevens Point that they put in their newspaper when they received the grant, the Pollinator grant. We like to see that positive press versus the negative press when we're going to be doing work in an area. So that's what I have. So if you have any more questions about it, we do have the application. This was a quick time to share it, but I'm available if you have any more questions on how we got it established. One more quick thing, the funding source. I had to get creative with this. All of us are probably used to the pressures of our operations and maintenance budgets just getting cut each year. I know we've been asked to reduce ours quite a bit lately, and we used to fund these sort of projects through the environmental operations and maintenance budget. And I had a feeling that that money would be less likely available. So we have something at ATC called the Corporate Giving Council. I don't know if other entities have something like this, but it's where we fund, we can sponsor conferences, we can give money to some foundations and charities and whatnot. So I go to this council now and earmark the money for the Pollinator grant program and saying the benefit it can bring to the communities that we do this in. So that money, I feel, is much more protected in our Corporate Giving Council than it is in my environmental budget. So just be creative with your funding and things like that. I had to think a little bit outside the box on that one, but I think it's going to help the success of this grant program.